Yo, what's good? What's good? Saw your reactions, so just thought I'd hop on and make this video real quick. I've got 4 points. I want to just get into them, written them down. I just want to like read out and just make it quick and snappy. I don't want to be talking for too long. But before I get into that, number one thing overarching I would say is just start. You're gonna make mistakes. If it's your first time doing something like this, it's a given. You'll mess stuff up, and that's okay. The good thing is, from those mistakes, you'll learn. And from learning, you'll gain experience that you'll be able to use to help you, which is how I've got into where I am, where I was able to buy that bike, know what I needed to do, flip it, and get 70 for it, because I've made mistakes, quite a few in the past, to be able to do that. That's overarching thing. Point number one is when it comes to getting your first flip. There's three parts to this. Firstly, when it comes to sourcing your item, I normally do it on Marketplace or the Eco Store just to save myself time, because I've tried it on Trade Me and people normally put like a premium onto their price and it's too expensive. You can't really make money off it. Or in the past also, I've done garage sales. Good thing is you may find some cheap stuff, but it may be few and far between because you never really know the quality of the garage sale and the stuff they have. They're just literally sometimes, most of the time, getting rid of junk, and you're wasting your time in petrol driving around. And we know time is a premium. So Marketplace is probably the best place to stay if time's an issue, or if you do have time as well, depending on what you're looking for. EcoStore is normally a good spot to start as well. Second part to that is you make your money on the buy. Reason that's important is because if it comes to worst case scenario, you can't really sell your product or there's something wrong with it that you discover after you've already bought it that lowers the price, then you actually have room you have wiggle room. You can afford to sell it at cost and not lose any money, which is a positive. Or even if you can make a little bit of a profit, that's a win too. But I'll say a win with something like that is if you can cop it at a good price, that probably means that you won't lose any money, because even if you sell it at cost, you're chill. On the positive side, that allows you to actually make quite a bit of profit. So you want to make sure that you make your money on the buy, because if you buy something that's already expensive and you try to add value to it sometimes, you're just wasting your own time. You're not really going to be able to add too much onto it, just because it's already expensive from when you got into it. Third part of this is really, I feel like it's important to me. How much work are you willing to put in? If the product is missing parts, if it needs to be repaired, are you willing to do that work? Because the more work you put in, the more money that you'd be able to get if you could improve the right stuff. For me, I'm lazy. I'm not trying to do any sanding. I've done that in the past, and that's how I've learned. I ain't got time for that. It annoys me. I just want to be able to do the least amount of work possible and have a higher upside. So for me, I avoid stuff that has to do with too much work, even if it means that, I'd be able to get quite a bit of money from this. That ain't me. I don't want to do that. I'm just trying to look for stuff that's like, I can clean it up, take some good photos. Maybe like, if it's like tinkering stuff like bikes, I already know that. I don't mind like buying some brakes and installing those. That's as much as I'm willing to do. So how much work are you willing to put in is the main thing. That was number one. Number two is when it comes to preparing your listing for Marketplace. If you have to repair it or improve it, do what you need to do. I'll say the second part to that is cleaning your item. Make sure you get a wet cloth, clean that thing, make sure it's clean. Majority of the listings on Marketplace are not appealing. Bet money, hop on Marketplace now, pause this or after this, and look at the first page just when you open up Marketplace. Majority of those photos are taken with like a dingy garage in the back, stuff splayed around a yard. It doesn't look appealing at all. And it looks bundy. So make sure that you get a cloth, clean that thing, because it makes it stand out from the get-go from all the other listings. Even if it's a Marketplace full of like good stuff that just has bad photos, yours will stand out even more just from the fact that it's clean and has good photos, which I'll go into next. So that was number two, preparing to list. Number three, listing it on Marketplace. There's like 5 main parts to this. First part of that is, like I mentioned, you want to take good photos and from many angles. I don't know about you guys, but when I hop online and I'm buying something, let's just say off like Nike or like ASOS, like a piece of clothing, if they only have one photo of like the model from the front, that doesn't really give you an idea of like what it looks like from all these different angles. And for you to be able to like imagine yourself wearing it. You want to make sure you take good photos from many angles of your item, even if you have to stage it. I know that there's been multiple times in the past where I mainly did like furniture, and I bought bedside tables, clean them up, do that thing, and then I'd actually stage one of them beside like my bedside, just so that people have an idea of what it actually looks like sort of like selling the dream and like visualizing it, like, oh, this would look good in my house as well. You don't have to do that, even if it's just like taking a picture on a white background against your wall from different angles. That works as well. Just make sure that it's clear and they're good photos. That's all you got to do. That's the first part. Second part to listing on that is the order in which people view it. This is one thing that I've had to learn just from like a bit of experience I have with e-commerce stuff I did in the background back in the days. First thing people see is your photo, is what grabs their attention. So that's why you want to make sure that your photos are good, because even if your product is like it's been repaired, all that sort of stuff, no one's going to know if they don't read the description. And they don't read the description unless they get stopped in their tracks by your photo and it captures their attention. So you want to make sure your photo is good. That's why. Second thing they see is the price. If it's a good price, most of the time, if you've taken good photos, even if the price is on the higher end, they'll click into it. And then from that, you have your description, which they read, and you want to make sure that that's detailed all right. And I'll get into that in a bit. Really, a potential buyer in their mind is asking themselves, do I have to do anything to this? Because I know for myself, if I'm buying something off Marketplace, I just want it to work. If it has any repairs, that'll probably put people off. Hence why, for example, with the bike, I actually went out to buy the brakes because I saw the listing was getting clicks. It got like a save, but no one was like reaching out. And I was like, oh, I had in my description, which I'll touch on how to write that the brakes needed to be replaced. I could tell that was probably putting people off. That's why I went out and bought it. As soon as I fixed that, literally within like a few hours, I got a bite. Someone wanted to buy it. Like, it's just some of those things can make or break a listing. So people are asking themselves, do I have to do anything to this? The third part of that is you want to price your item at the top end of the market or just above it. The reason why you want to do that is because we're not doing all this work, cleaning it up, repairing it if you have to. Shout out to y'all. That ain't me. Taking good photos, staging it if you have to, writing that detailed description just so that we get pimp squeaks for it. You want to be able to charge at the top of the market because, as I mentioned before, you've probably seen on Marketplace that majority of the listings on there, they don't have good photos, descriptions are trash. It could literally be an item that you buy for like $30, flip it for 70, but when you bought it, it was literally just one line, someone saying, I don't know, like bedside tables in good condition, first person to reach out to me has dibs on it to buy it. That's literally what people put. Oh, bro, I don't know, it gets on my nerves, but that means that you can actually take advantage of that on the positive side. So all those things that you do, cleaning it up, repairing it, taking good photos, good description, it just adds peace of mind to people and builds trust because that's the main thing on Marketplace. People don't want to get scammed. They don't want to buy something that breaks. If it has good photos, all those things, people trust that and people will pay for that trust, which means that they'll pay the premium. Bonus for you. Number 4 on that, or the next part, point number 3, listing, is if you've repaired something, put it in the description. Let the people know because that actually adds another selling point on what you did. After I put in my description that I'd replaced the brakes, brand new brakes, I made sure to mention that. Man, people were on that. The lady that ended up buying it bought it for her son as a birthday present. Cleaning it, all that stuff does make a difference. When it comes to your description, this is one of those make it or break it things. I normally try to structure it in a way where I like mention the benefits, and that's like selling the dream. And I'll try and see if I can get up the description of the bike that I put up. This is a good example of that. You don't have to do this. This is just me. But when I bought the bikes, I mainly do kids' bikes just because I know adults, they don't really buy as many bikes because everyone drives. But kids love riding bikes, especially during the warmer months. So for me, I was like, cool, get the kids sorted for the rest of the school holidays and back to school and the back to school commute with a great bike. One, I'm already speaking to a market because there's a grandparent out there, there's a parent out there who wants to buy their kid a bike. It could be a present, back to school thing, all that sort of stuff, going out for bike rides with the kids. Kids love that stuff. So I was like, cool, I sell the dream, already get them visualizing it. And then from that, I get into the features. And that's the stuff that I'm talking about, like the measurements, the nitty gritty, what size is the bike, the type of height it is, the age range the bike fits, maximum weight, all that sort of stuff. If you're doing like furniture, height, width, depth, all the important things. That's what you put in your features because people want to know that stuff as well. What I'll put below those features is if it has any defects, you want to be able to mention that. As I mentioned before, when I first listed it, the bike, it had brakes that needed to be replaced. And I put that below that. It did deter it just because with a bike, you do need brakes, but you want to be able to still list that. Below that, you pick up whichever suburb that you live in. And if you're willing to deliver the item, put that in the description too. But make sure that you add, like, you're willing to deliver for a fee. Because at the end of the day, it's your time. You don't want to be doing it for free. Another thing you can do for that delivery is you can, instead of putting a separate delivery fee, so let's just say you have like a chest of drawers, listing it for $70. Instead of saying $70 for the chest of drawers and $10 extra if you want me to deliver it, if you're willing to deliver it and you live central in town, probably suits you best, you can put the $10 onto the listing fee and just list it up for $80 and just say free delivery. That in itself can probably act as like another selling point, especially with items like furniture or items that are like, I just need to see photos. What you see is what you get. I don't need to come and inspect it too much, especially if it's in good condition. That's only if you're willing to do it. Like, that's up to you. Okay, so that's listing on Marketplace. The last one, number 4, is managing the listing. This is when, wouldn't really be make or break, but it just pays to know. So the first part of that, out of the two, is if you list an item and it's not getting any clicks, it's either your pictures or your price. So make sure that you have good pictures and your price is all good. Mainly it's probably the pictures. And if it's an item where there's a lot of things that are sold on Marketplace, you know that it may not be the item that's the problem because there's, for example, like chest of drawers, furniture, bikes. There's a lot of them on Marketplace and they sell. So you know, okay, cool. Mine's probably not selling or getting clicks because of the price. If it's getting clicks and saves, like listing saves, but no one has reached out to you in at least 48 hours, then drop the price. This applies to both. If in the first day you don't get any clicks, that's probably like pictures. But if you don't get anyone message you about it or reach out within 2 days, 48 hours, then drop the price. The reason you do this is because you know if they've clicked into it, they've seen the price, they've read the description, and if they're saving it, then you know, okay, the product itself isn't the problem. It's the price that's putting people off. If you've bought low, made your money on the buy, then you have wiggle room to move when it comes to like setting your price. Plus, when you actually do drop the price, it notifies the people that have saved it. And that might push them over the line to be like, cool, it's at a price that I want now. Let me act on it. And it shows that you're a motivated seller, that you're willing to make this thing move, which helps people reach out as well. So yeah, those are mainly the things that I've learned. Well, it sounded real fresh off the boat on that one. These are mainly the things that I've learned over the last like few years of doing it. But yeah, sorry, it came out to like 15 minutes. But yeah, these are things that will actually help you on your flipping vibes. And again, just start. I didn't learn these things until I literally applied what we're doing now and just got out there and did something. You learn what to do, you learn what not to do, but you won't get there if you don't start. So that's about everything from me. And yeah, peace out.